Putin says he was not impressed by Tucker Carlson, and he gave this face. Or at least that's what the photo shows. How long do you think until Tucker interviews Xi Jinping? It depends. It depends on how many. It depends on what different wonders Tucker Carlson has to discover and. It depends on what amazing wonders Tucker Carlson has to discover in Russia before he leaves. Who knows? He's gonna find out that public buses exist and trams, maybe. Who knows? He's gonna make videos about it. Okay, let's react. Tucker Carlson did all that he could to impress the Russian authoritarian Vladimir Putin. He asserted that Russia is not an expansionist power, which is laughable. Claimed that Moscow is better than any American city, which is laughable. I mean, up to taste. Some people like the architecture of Moscow, admittedly. Posed in Buryat costume. I admit that I have forgotten about that, but yes, he did, in fact, do that. And lobbied against continued U.S. aid to Ukraine, which is basically the worst thing that he has done from this list. Lobbying for genocide, you mean? Because lobbying against continued U.S. aid is basically lobbying for genocide. Xi Jinping doesn't often do interviews. I mean, maybe if he'll see how horrible of an interviewer Tucker Carlson is, he'll change his mind just for him. Who knows? Weirder things have happened. Stranger things have happened, and as we all know, nothing's impossible. Impossible is nothing. Never say never. And all that. And all those nice sayings that you're used to hearing. Never say never. Like in that movie, again. Never say never again. Never say never. Never say never again. Never say never again. Never say never again. Isn't that right, gigglers? Never say never. How many of you know the movie American Tail? All read it? Okay. Nevertheless, Putin was not impressed. He told interviewer Pavel Zarubin this week, "Sincerely speaking, I didn't fully enjoy this interview." She could use Tucker like Putin. Oh, definitely. Anyone could use Tucker like Putin did, I think. It would be easier to name people that couldn't, considering how stupid Tucker Carlson is, or how stupid he pretends to be, which is almost like a worthless sort of distinction without a difference. Album 1, when I record my super songs. But I sound awful when I sing, so why would you want an album from me? Why would you want an album from me? I suck at singing. You've just heard the sample. Frankly, I thought he would have behaved aggressively and asked tough questions. I wasn't just prepared for this. I wanted it, Putin insisted. I find this hard to believe, but if he says that, it must be true. He was so ready. I wanted it. I want it. Give it to me. Give it to me. Damn it. Give it to me, please. Give it to me. I need it. I want it. The Russian president complained that Carlson's failure to ask pointed questions didn't give him an opportunity to do what he was prepared to do. His job. You prevented me from doing my job. How dare you? Damn. And therefore, this interview did not turn out to be as engaging or substantive as it could have been. See, I did all that I wanted. I did all that I could have done. I've prepared and prepared, but the tough questions just wouldn't come. So what was I supposed to do? I had no choice in the matter. Have you actually clipped this? You did not actually clip it, but if you have, send me a link. You've not clipped this. When Zarubin queried the Russian president as to what he thought about negative reactions of Western leaders, Putin evasively replied that it is a good thing that they're watching and listening. He added, if today, due to their own reasons, we are unable to conduct direct dialogue, then we should be grateful to Mr. Carlson for the fact that we can do this through him as an intermediary. Amazing. Amazing. See? You say you clip me, but you're not dedicated enough a viewer to actually clip me. Such a disappointment. I am disappointed by this chat. I expected... Wait, let me find the exact wording. Frankly, I thought the chat would behave aggressively and clip me relentlessly. I wasn't just prepared for this. I wanted it. I say. This must become a meme format, the whole. This should become a meme format, the whole. I thought he would do X aggressively. I thought he would behave aggressively and do X. I wasn't just prepared for this. I wanted it. This must become a meme format. It has potential. It has potential. Okay, let's move on. Oh, and the article goes on. Actually thought it was over. Apologies. I'm so unprepared for my own segments, but maybe that's why you love watching me so much. Maybe that's my appeal. Maybe that's what I have to truly offer to my fan base. Lack of preparations and lame jokes. You like today's guests, right? Guest, the feller that betrayed me. For years leading up to Tucker Carlson's interview with Putin, he was a darling of the Russian state media. Top Russian propagandists gushed about him, featured translated clips of his Fox News segments and even described Carlson as the only American they would not want to kill. What an honor. What an honor. You're the only one that we would not want to kill. You were a guest. No, you're a friend. You're not just a guest. You're a friend. So maybe you don't count as a guest? I don't know. I don't know the savoir, the savoir of these sort of distinctions. Okay, let's. Where was I? Where was I? Ah, yes. Ah, yes. The only American that they would not want to kill. How nice. Any other, it's slaughter. But you're one of the good ones, so we will not kill you. Lovely. Head of RT, Margarita Simonian, recounted that Carlson repeatedly contacted her since 2021, pleading for an interview with Putin, and his attempts intensified after Russia invaded Ukraine. Simonian said that she went from office to office begging for what we RT believe is important for the country. State media's talking heads predicted that the interview would blow up the US elections and stun gullible Americans. Stun them with what? The idiotic history that's been presented? Stun them with what exactly? I'm sorry, if people in the US are so easily stunned, then I really should not bring up the stereotype about American people that floats around the world. I'm just gonna be quiet and I'm just not gonna mention the stereotype. But it's really hard not to at moments like this. I'm just gonna say that whoever is a Tucker Carlson enjoyer, unironic Tucker Carlson enjoyer, an unironic Donald Trump voter, is not the sharpest tool in the shed. I'm just gonna say that. And leave it at that. I'm not gonna say anymore. I'm not going to say anymore. Okay. Let's just leave it at that. And move on. Move on. Oh, move on. Instead, the sit down was more of a monologue than a conversation. You don't say. A history lesson, a lecture. And if you're gonna give a history lecture, at least make the history real. At least make the history factual history, not a bunch of bullshit, please. With Putin droning on about ancient and modern history. I mean, not ancient, come on. The 8th century is not ancient history. Ancient history is considered before our era. Deliberately twisted to justify Russia's revanchist aspirations with respect to Ukraine. The outcome was clearly underwhelming, Carlson's softball endeavor was not only ridiculed in the West, but also rejected by Russian audiences. Too bad. The interview, showcased 2 times during primetime hours on Channel 1, received dismal ratings. It ranked 19th in the nationwide lineup and 11th in Moscow, against the lineup of the most popular television programs for that week, barely beating out a competition of psychics. Oh my god, psychics. Ah, apparently psychics in Russia are a big thing that sort of try to predict the outcome of the war. I'm not even kidding. Apparently the Russians are glued to their screens watching psychics trying to magic out how the war is gonna end. Apparently they treat this very seriously. This is what desperation does to you. Even Simonian, who was so instrumental in laying the groundwork for his fiasco, couldn't conceal her initial disappointment. She wrote on X, formerly Twitter, "It's a shame that Tucker didn't bring up conservative values. This is his strong point." That's pathetic. His conservative values are his strong point. That's a bit pathetic then, isn't it? If that is the strong point. As well as the strong point of the boss, Putin, first and foremost. That's even more pathetic. Oh, I actually would have loved for them to talk about conservative values. That would have been as entertaining as that would have been. It probably would have not been any less stupid. So we've not missed out on much on that front, probably. We sort of know already what Vladimir Putin's conservative views are. We already know that he basically at one point blamed trans people for the invasion of Ukraine. He blamed gender neutral bathrooms for invading Ukraine. That's a whole thing. It's those are just a few of his conservative beliefs. But, maybe it would have been really lovely and informative to hear it from the lips of the boss during an interview. Maybe that would have given us a bit more of entertainment value to hear him ramble about the LGBT. Maybe. But it would not have been any better than what we've gotten. Unfortunately, Miss Simonian, as much of a strong point that is for Tucker as well as for Vladimir. Let's continue, because this is Russian propagandists anticipated questions about Satanism. No way. No way. I gotta read that again. This is incredible. Russian propagandists anticipated questions about Satanism, LGBT issues, and American biolabs. American biolabs. Oh my god. This is actually what they wanted. Those were the tough questions that Putin did not just prepare for. He wanted them. He wanted them so hard. He could almost taste them, but he was let on. He was cock-blocked by Tucker Carlson. Oh. The closest they got was when Carlson asked Putin, so do you see the supernatural at work as you look out across what's happening in the world now? Do you see God at work? Do you ever think to yourself, these are forces that are not human? What kind of a question is that? This is the stupidest question I've ever heard in an interview. I swear to God, I've heard many interviews. For quite some time, my job was to listen to interviews and transcribe them into writing. I've listened to a lot of interviews. And I've never in my entire life heard an interview question so devoid of any logic, thought, or purpose even. Can you feel God's hand in all of this? Okay. That's... okay. Fine. Nice. Well done. Well done. Amazing. Amazo, even. This is incredible. I'm having fun reading this article. The closest they got was a question, Dear Mr. Putin, can you feel God's hand in what's happening in the world? I'm an atheist. Oof. Wimp. So weak being an atheist. Loser. Loser atheist. Can you feel the God's hand, the supernatural? That's so great. So amazing. Okay, let's just move on from this. That's too much, even for me. Putin failed to take advantage of the leading question and delivered a very Soviet-minded response. No, to be honest. I don't think so. Shut down. Oh, shut down. Oh no. Oh no, Mr. Tucker. You've been rejected. Your religiosity has been shut down. Bam. It's over for you. Mr. Putin, do you feel the hand of God, the hand of retribution, fighting against the West, smiting those horrible Westerners trying to encroach Russia, to fight against its interest? No, to be honest, no, I don't think so. I must be such a, defeated sort of like head sort of thing, like, I expected a different answer, Mr. Putin, sir. I expected I don't know what I expected anymore. Heartbroken, yes. I don't know what I expected, but I expected different. Oh, so sad. So sad. Things are going so bad. But I guess there's more. The article goes on. It's not over till it's over. So let's go. Despite her initial frustration about wasted propaganda opportunities, oh yeah, because that is famously what interviews are supposed to be for. Propaganda opportunities. I love this phrasing. I love how this is being worded. Despite her initial frustration about wasted propaganda opportunities, because interviews are not getting like to the bottom of something or to learning the truth. It's definitely not about getting into the mindset of the person that you're interviewing or about learning some new information about what their experience of their thought process. No. No, 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 no. You're mistaken. It's all about these sweet, sweet wasted propaganda opportunities, of course. Like, to be so blatant about it, I swear to God. Simonian quickly bounced back and was soon praising the interview on Sol- Solov- Vladimir Solovyov's show Sunday Evening with Vladimir Solovyov, with fervor reveling the infamous North Korean woman in pink. Simonian declared, "This was the most successful, the most significant, and truly historic media event in journalism in the history of human." I have to see this. Okay, it's time. What? I want to see this. I actually wanna. I want to see the clip. This is impossible, and yet I want to see it. I want to see it. Oh, what was it called? Gee, this cannot be. So this is what was referenced today. I wanna see this. Can anyone link me the thing when she says that? I wanna see that. I wanna see that clip. I wanna see her acting like a North Korean person. I haven't seen it. I wanna see it. I wanna see it. I wanna. I can't seem to find it. I wanna. So bad. I wanna do it so bad. But I cannot find it. So unless somebody links it to me, then we're gonna have to skip on the pleasures. We're gonna have to skip on this pleasure. Whatever. Wait. There is one more chance. from 11 months ago. The Russian Soul. Margarita Simonian. Okay, I'm gonna find it no matter what. Margarita Simonian cried watching Tucker Carlson's interview with Putin. There we go. We're gonna watch this video. It's short. It's not long. I knew I could find something. Warning, Russian Media Monitor provides translations of curated clips broadcast by Russian state media for the purposes of analyzing of state-controlled propaganda, as well as the coverage of newsworthy information provided on the shows. We're going to subscribe to this. As well as the coverage of newsworthy information. Translation exhibition of this. Okay, let's just watch. Let's just get into this. Let's just get into this. Let's not dilly-dally or whatever they call it. Bam! Incredible.
Margarita.
Go ahead, Margarita Simonia. Yes! I don't know how many years, how many centuries.
Да.
Da. Da, da, da. Yes.
Не знаю, сколько лет нужно учиться ораторскому искусству, учиться искусству.
One moment, I missed. One should train in the art of public speaking.
Учиться искусству
The art of drama. The art of writing.
драматургии, писательского искусства,
The art of storytelling, as they call it now.
искусству, как сейчас модно говорить, сторителлинга, то есть построение
Storytelling, as they... I cannot believe she said it like that. Storytelling.
писательского искусства, искусству, как сейчас модно говорить, сторителлинга, то есть
Storytelling. I cannot believe. Oh, gosh. I'm Eastern European. I'm allowed to mock this. I am perfectly within my right to mock this sort of thing. Storytelling.
построение истории.
You end of this historic interview like this.
Чтобы
This historic interview.
закончить такое программное историческое интервью вот
Такое программе.
так.
Так.
Оно же закончилось так, что мы, например,
The way it ended, when Tigran and I watched it live, both of us shed tears.
с Тиграном, когда смотрели его в прямом эфире, мы прослезились оба. Он мужчина, взрослый дядька уже.
He's a man, a grown-up guy, but nonetheless.
Тем не менее, мне кажется, впервые
I think it was the first time he said this is a civil war.
сказал, что это гражданская война. Это тоже
This is an important milestone in the realization
важная веха в осознании того,
of what is happening.
что происходит. И поэтому
On one hand, the process of the reunification of souls. What is she talking about?
с
What
одной
is this nonsense? What souls are unifying? And what? Did Putin's soul reunify with Tucker's soul? She can't mean Ukrainian people and Russians. She cannot mean that.
стороны тяжелые и трудные
Russian disinfo. I love it. I love this little burning Russian disinfo thing. Into one common soul of one nation will be hard. Yeah, it is hard when the other nation doesn't want to do anything with you and when you're trying to genocide them. It is definitely hard when that happens. People don't appreciate being genocided, but you know.
будет процесс воссоединения душ.
Dush. Because in the Slavic tongues, dusha is as the soul. For example, in Polish, we say dusza, which means, again, the soul.
В одну душу единого народа.
On the other hand, for the same reason,
А с другой стороны, тоже именно поэтому
с
этот
другой стороны,
процесс неизбежен.
this process is unavoidable.
Я совершенно согласна, мне кажется, ни один
I totally agree. I don't think any normal person
нормальный человек не может здесь...
не может. I'm allowed to, okay? I am allowed to. I have carte blanche of mocking. Не можно так. Так не можно. God. Can interpret what Vladimir Vladimirovich said.
Какие-то разночтения испытывать с тем, что сказал Владимир Владимирович, достаточно
In any other way.
вспомнить примеры Чеченской войны, Первой, Второй.
Чеченские войны. It's sufficient to recall the example of the Chechen War. She already spoiled it before the subtitles even could catch up.
Мы могли себе представить...
Both Chechen wars, I'm sorry. My Russian is not up to par.
Что чеченский народ
Could you have imagined that the Chechen people
с оружием в руках будет
with arms in their hands would defend the interests
защищать интересы России, русского мира сейчас во
of Russia and the Russian world and the spec mill up?
время СВО? Это можно было себе представить 20 лет назад?
Could we have imagined this 20 years ago? No! Could we have imagined this when we're still crushing and subjugating the Chechen people? No! Amazing.
Нет, это абсолютно невозможно. И тем
Nonetheless, this is the way it is.
не менее, это сейчас так. О самом интервью.
Now, about the interview itself, and I still can't get over the fact that it seems that she actually said interview in Russian, which I have to hear again. I have to listen to this again because this is hilarious.
Невозможно. И тем не менее, это сейчас так. О самом интервью.
A samo interview. What, don't you have the word for interview in Russian? The best of languages. Do you have to use English loan words? In Polish we don't say przeprowadziliśmy interview. We say przeprowadziliśmy wywiad. Damn. Russian doesn't have the word for interview, it seems. How embarrassing. How utterly embarrassing. Interview.
Это интервью, безусловно, историческое.
This was unquestionably a historic interview. Maybe, but not for the reasons that you're listing here.
Это самое успешное.
It was the most successful, the most significant,
самое знаковое и историческое, действительно.
And a truly historic media event in journalism. That would have been so disappointing and so sad for journalism as a whole if that were to be the case. But fortunately, we have this thing here to remind us that fortunately, that is not quite the case.
Медийное событие в истории человечества. Если мы берем
of humanity, the story of humanity.
Журналистику.
She looks so dumbfounded. Like, what are you talking about?
Конечно.
Okay, you could interpret this face actually in two different ways. You can interpret it in, oh my god, this is so incredible what you're saying. Or, What are you even talking about? Even I'm not buying this bullshit. So you can pick actually between these two interpretations of this fascinating facial expression.
Маленькая ложечка дегтя было
Of course, there's a small negative. It would be better if this interview happened earlier.
бы лучше, если бы это интервью состоялось пораньше. Такер
Tucker reached out to us.
обращался к нам, только к нам, а я уверена, что он
I'm not sure we weren't the only ones he contacted.
не только к нам обращался, но именно к нам он обратился с просьбой помочь.
He contacted us to help him arrange this interview.
Почему в этом интервью весной
In the
21
spring of 2021, before the special military op.
года, еще до СВО. После начала СВО он усилил напор, он такой
He's a pushy person.
человек напористый. И, конечно, я ходила по многим
Of course, I went to many offices.
кабинетам, это моя любимая забава.
Going from office to office is my favorite pastime. How nice. And not at all sad, and not at all pathetic.
Ходить по кабинетам и выпрашивать что-то, что, как нам кажется,
What a hobby to have, going from office to office.
очень важно и нужно для страны. Реакции были разные.
Wait, what? Begging for what we think is important for the country. Begging.
Выпрашивать что-то,
I beg.
что, как нам кажется, очень важно и нужно для страны. Реакции были разные.
The reactions were mixed.
Кто-то
Yes, she does, going from office to office.
говорил, да кто он такой.
Some said, who is he?
Кто-то говорил, что, может, не надо, чтобы из этого не вышло.
Some said, maybe we shouldn't. What if it goes wrong?
В общем, в конечном итоге вышло
In the end, it turned out to be tremendous. Amazing.
так, как вышло.
The office Poland PL.
Вышло потрясающе. Мне кажется, немножко
It kind of upsets me that if it happened earlier,
обидно, что если бы это было раньше,
раньше wydarzonko.
посложнее было бы
The battles over aid to Ukraine in Congress.
в Конгрессе, вот эти вот битвы за
Would have been much more intense. I don't even know how to comment on that. I don't even know what to say to that. This is... Oh yeah, for sure. For sure, if only the interview would have happened sooner. Surely the US would have cut aid sooner as well.
помощь
Uh-huh.
Украине, они пожестче бы проходили.
Because American congressmen and senators...
Потому что все-таки американские конгрессмены, сенаторы, правда же, они думают
Think about their voters.
о своих избирателях.
Unlike us, we don't give a shit about our voters, actually. Which is implied a bit.
И если избиратели
If their voters have a certain attitude,
настроены как-то вот так, ну, довольно
it's hard to make decisions contrary to the will of voters. Fortunately, we don't have this shackle around their necks. We don't have to worry about any voters, any will of anybody. How wonderful.
сложно принимать решения прямо противоположной воле избирателей. А мы можем
We can definitely say that this interview
однозначно сказать о том, что многое в голове
change a lot in the heads of American voters. Well, how do you even... What? How do you know that? How do you figure that? Where did that sort of conclusion come from? What do you draw this conclusion from? That's... I mean... Okay. Maybe. Okay.
в головах американских избирателей с этим интервью поменялось. Без преувеличения.
Without an exaggeration,
понимаете, перелом в головах, перелом.
there was a breakthrough in their heads. What sort of breakthrough happened in the heads of American voters? Do you like Ricky Gervais? I don't know.
Произошел. Ну, это надо быть нашим президентом.
Only our president could stun them this way. Oh boy. Only our president could stun them this way. We were all stunned, all right, by this interview, but probably not in the way that you're thinking of. Oh, I don't count. I'm not an American voter, though, so I don't count. Just a dirty Pole. Just a dirty Pole that has been scheming for the ages behind the scenes, Polonizing Lithuania. It's never mind. I'm also a Jewish person, so it's like double bad. Not good.
Президентом, чтобы так их потрясти. Конечно, больше всего...
Of course, they write that what shook them the most of all. Wait, they write... Or did you get a polling on this? Did you actually... I don't know... commission a poll among the US voters as to how stung they were on the interview?
Их потрясло, как они пишут.
Make America Poland. True. Make America Polish again.
Колледжевого больше всего их потрясло.
What? What did I just see? What did I just see on the screen and hear? Through the earphones?
Как они пишут. Колледж.
Was his college level lecture. College level lecture. College level. Sure.
Живого уровня лекция.
Лекция.
Потому что это...
Because these people suffer from horrible education. I mean, to be fair, the US education has a reputation that primary school, high school, to the garbage, useless education. That is what the US has. That is the United States reputation, but it actually has a reputation of having good universities. So primary school, high school, worthless. University education, pretty good. That's the consensus around the world about US education, which I'm inclined to believe. The universities themselves have a pretty high level of education. You cannot deny that. You cannot deny that the US has pretty good universities when it comes to the level of education. At least compared to primary and high schools, which are garbage and throw out to the bin.
Этот народ, он так давно измучен.
Also, at least it's not fake, like Russian education.
Дурным образованием.
Дурне. Эй, дурне.
Вы понимаете, что для американцев...
For American society, it is shocking that we're different. What? I mean, looking at Tucker Carlson that gushes over little shopping carts that you put coins into, maybe there's something to it.
Американского общества это шок, что мы
Шок.
другие, и наш лидер
And our leader is different. Our leader is built quite different.
другой. Вот такой. Нас же не удивляет.
it does not surprise us that Vladimirovich
что Владимир Владимирович 25 минут рассказывает тысячелетнюю
spent 25 minutes studying a 1,000-year history. Calling that history is a very generous interpretation of what happened.
историю Руси и Украины. Вообще не удивляет, он делает
Of Rush and Ukraine. He's done it many times before. I mean, in an interview, he did not say Rush. If he said Rush, I would have been more inclined to agree. But no, he didn't say Rush. He said Russia, many, many times. He conflated the terms of Rush and Russia. Which is no. I'm sorry. It is not hard to catch the fact that Rush and Russia are two different words, in fact.
это много раз. Мы как и были, так и остались великой читающей нацией.
Just as we were, we've remained a great nation.
Что когда я приехал
When I went to study in America in 1995, also nations are a very new concept, but that's a whatever. I'm not gonna spend 25 minutes giving my own history lecture. You all hate history now, thanks to Vladimir Putin. Thanks, Putin, for making everybody sick of history. One of the coolest subjects ever.
в 95-м году учиться в Америку и поселилась там в семье.
I moved in with a family and I saw
И увидела, что в трехэтажном доме в очень богатой семье
that in a 3-story house of a very wealthy family,
нет ни одной книги.
50 children lived. Oh, there was not one book, not even a bookcase. I mean, I've got quite a few books. But then again, I'm not an American voter, so I don't count. I'm not an American. I do not count.
И нет даже книжного шкафа, даже полочки.
Not one bookshelf where they could be kept in theory. Putin butchered Polish history there. Yes, he did. Actually, butcher Polish history quite a lot in that whole thing. Watch my segment and give it a like and comment, please. I did a whole segment on the history part of the interview. Did you not know? Do you not follow my channel?
То есть чего-то, где они теоретически могли бы стоять. И это, в общем-то,
This is the norm for the Western world.
Норма для
Норма. Свете заходу.
западного мира.
It remained this way up until now. Up until this interview.
Так это осталось и по сей день. Они другие. Для них это шок. Они смотрят на него, как на инопланетяне. Они другие.
They are different. They are in shock from this. I know I watched it. Thank you. Great reading, nation.
Для них это шок. Они смотрят на него, как на инопланетяне.
They look at him as though he is an alien. Oh boy.
Понимаешь, как это может быть? Человек 20...
How can it be that a man is speaking for 25 minutes
5 минут вообще в принципе говорит, не глядя в бумажку?
without looking at any notes? I mean, I can spin bullshit for 3 hours and not look at any notes. That's hardly an accomplishment. Like, I can create alternative history all day I wouldn't need any notes. You know? No notes needed. Hey. Great. What an accomplishment.
Что бы угодно он ни говорил.
On top of that, he's naming names and dates. I'm gonna be quite honest. The number of dates and the number of names were so surface level that it's not even, it's comical how surface level. Like, even ignoring the fact that it was all bullshit, that it was all twisted to the point of bare recognition, it was also extremely surface level. Like, we do need to recognize that, right? I basically skimmed through from the 8th century to now by giving a few bare minimum dates and bare minimum names. And she's gushing over it as if he was giving a college level lecture that everybody's shocked with. That speaks more to her level of expectation than anything else, in my opinion, but whatever, what do I know?
А тут он при этом называет даты, что откуда пошло.
What started where? Bogdan Khmelnytsky, which his story was also butchered as hell during that interview. Bogdan Khmelnytsky is a very, very, very controversial figure. A very, we could call him an interesting figure. And the whole thing was a lot more complicated than a lot of people would like to claim. And of course, let's not forget that to the Jewish people, Bogdan Khmelnytsky represents the end of the Jewish golden age, quite literally. And that's a whole other topic that we could go into one day.
Какие-то имена, каких-то Богданов Хмельницких.
And who knows what else? He remembers it by heart.
Понятно чего, и все это человек, он что, наизусть помнит? Нам остается только
All we can do is rejoice.
радоваться и надеяться на то, что...
And hope that, as we can see from the spec mill up,
как мы видим даже по СВО, победа в войне.
The victory right now is not based on might and strength, but it is based on whether or not places like the US cut aid, is basically what is about to be said, probably.
Сейчас не за могучей силой, а все-таки за высокими технологиями, то есть за знанием.
But rather high tech and therefore knowledge and intellect. Knowledge and intellect are gonna win us the day. Well, too bad that, because at least to my understanding, Mr. Putin, sir, has not really presented us with much knowledge. I don't know about intellect. I'm not gonna speculate on Vladimir Putin's intellect. But what I am going to say, that there was no knowledge bestowed upon us in that interview.
То есть за интеллектом. То мы...
In the long term, I'm not talking about the spec mill up.
В длинной перспективе мы сейчас...
Spec mill up. Which we will win either way.
Не берем СВО, там-то мы победим в любом случае. А в
In general, in a global competition,
принципе, в соревновании внутри целого мира мы обречены на победу.
we're condemned to victory. Hola. Will 07.
У Такера,
Of course, Tucker has his own agenda.
конечно, тоже своя повестка. И это тоже хорошо.
It's a good thing. Хорошо, хорошо, хорошо.
Естественно.
Ну, это
As they say in America, it's a win-win situation. It's a win-win.
красивая ситуация, как в Америке говорят, win-win situation.
Win-win. Win-win.
Да, все выиграли от этого. Он,
He's certainly aiming to go into big politics.
безусловно, метит в большую политику.
Perhaps aiming to become a Vice President Tucker Carlson is the most depressing image that has appeared in my head all year. And I've been in the mental on the mental ward at the end of last year because of a mental breakdown, and this is Tucker vice president.
Наверное, он метит вице-президенты. И его повестка
His agenda was obvious in the questions he asked.
в тех вопросах, которые он задавал, она читалась. Он хотел
He wanted to kick Biden as hard as he could.
больнее пнуть Байдена. И то, что он в конце спросил,
The way he insistently asked Vladimirovich
так настойчиво уговаривал фактически Владимира
to release what's his name, Gershovich or Gershkovich.
Владимировича отпустить задержанного за шпионаж, как его там зовут, Гершковича.
Arrested for espionage.
Это же тоже для этого. Ему нужно было
It was done for that purpose, to show his audience.
показать своей аудитории, вот
Показать.
смотрите, Байден
Biden couldn't care less about American citizens.
наплевать на американских
Показать что.
граждан, а я вот бьюсь, борюсь и поверьте
But I am fighting for them.
мне, в будущей предвыборной кампании
Конечно,
Believe me, it will be used in the upcoming election.
это будет использоваться просто. Вот.
Просто. With 100% or 300% certainty. 300.
На 100%, на 300%.
И зато мы знаем точно,
100%. And we're certain he didn't blow up the Nord Stream.
что он лично не взрывал
Да,
северные потоки. В этот день он был занят.
He was busy that day.
У него алиби.
У него
Президент
алиби,
сказал,
да.
вас
He has an alibi, but the CIA does not. I'm looking at you, the CIA.
алиби, а у ЦРУ алиби нет.
I'm looking at you. Shoop. Subscribe. How great was that? Oh my god, that was amazing. That was the best. Still have a... Yeah, of course, whatever. We'll still have the rest of the article to read. Still have the article to finish. Wow. Wowzers, trousers. Now I know that Russia is just, I don't know, accursed to win or whatever. Oh me. Oh my. The curse of winning continues. To spice things up, Simonian claimed that herself and her husband, Tigran, Kosayan were so moved that they wept while watching the interview. To spice things up. Now that Putin has revealed his disappointment with the outcome of her pet endeavor, Simonian may be crying for other reasons or quickly changing her rhetoric to match that of the boss. The boss! Well, what did you think? What did you think of this amazing article and the accompanying video that we've watched? Are you excited? Are you excited for the upcoming presidential election?